Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's Wes here from the Imaginarium of Wes MiSENER, and today I'm going to talk about avant garde fashion. Um, it's pretty vague. I mean, avant garde fashion is basically like creative fashion, experimental fashion. Um, you hear a lot about it, um, you see it on runways. I don't know if it's really that practical, obviously. I mean, it's very expressive. Um, I make some myself. I mean, I try to do as much creative, expressive things as I can. But in my 10 years, I've learned to, really not take all my money and make creative fashion instead of investing it into my commercial line, that which does make me money and makes me a living. So this topic I chose to talk about because it's kind of like, everyone's so interested in what they see in the magazines, and the very provocative and the very experimental stuff they see on the runway, and the over exaggerated, and it's great. It's flashy, it's stimulating, but it's also art. It's not practical. Some of the stuff you can't really wear. Some of it's just kind of so abstract that it's a part of fashion, but I don't think it's like the only thing in fashion. And I don't believe that you should only focus on just trying to create things like that with your line. I mean, I am a huge fan of balance as far as like get your commercial stuff solid, get some income, and then spend some money on some creative stuff. Have some fun. Try some things out that won't work, but like it's very, very elusive to try and just spend all your money stroking your ego on trying to create something new and different. That I mean, sure, people probably will appreciate it and it's artistic and it's expressive, but like I am always a fan of balance, and myself, I don't try to show off. I don't try to be flashy. I try to like not bring my ego into my work. I mean, obviously it does surface. I mean, when I am creating things and I'm very opinionated and very like it must be this way, but it obviously it has its place. It's very stimulating. Like I mean, a lot of the times when say I'm working a lot on the commercial stuff, and you're just like doing t-shirt after t-shirt and sweatshirts and like more basic stuff that you're selling to customers, and you're cutting a lot of them or you're just producing a lot of them, it can get pretty boring, it can get pretty monotonous. So it is nice to take a little money and experiment and create something new and try something that was inspiring in your head. But I always feel like people are so focused on being different and experimental, and it's just it's very ego driven, and just like I don't see it as like the whole. Like I look at the business from a whole. The commercial, the creative avant-garde stuff on the runway, or however you're gonna show it and display it and show off your work and your personality. It does help you sell clothes. I mean, it has its place, but it's not the be all end all. If you're just not thinking that creating basic stuff or whatever stuff you want to sell commercially isn't important, and it's not stimulating, it's boring, like I just don't see how you're going to make your income, like so it's fun to experiment, it's fun to create, but then find balance with the commercial side and what's going to support your work. And that's also, people buying more of your commercial stuff is also going to support your avant-garde experimental work as well. And there will be people that will, buy a shirt, like a very creative shirt, very special shirt off of you, for $250, $300. But that is very slim. Like, that's a very slim market of people that are that interested in fashion and want really unique things and really appreciate the art of fashion. So, I mean, you have to also cater to the people that, they like what you do, but they want a use out of it. They want a nice black T-shirt that fits well and it's a good price, and they wear it every day and they love it, and they can get connected with your brand with a pair of underwear, a T-shirt, or they can get connected with the very highly creative collectible pieces as well. So, just be mindful that not everyone is interested in the experimental, or they don't appreciate it. Some people do, some people don't, but try to give them as much as you can, and be technically good, and have good commercial stuff, and have really great, avant-garde experimental stuff as well that's inspiring. And I mean, it's like very abstract, and people are just like, whoa, what went on in your head when you were making that? How are you feeling? Like, it's definitely can provoke questions, and it's great to show people, that side of your work, and that expression. But don't sacrifice, what you can do commercially, or take away from what you can do commercially, in order to just dump it all into the creative side, because you think, if I can have an awesome runway show at whatever fashion week, that everyone's going to flock to me and buy my stuff. Because a lot of times, like, designers just blow their budgets on shows and promotion, and even if they had all these customers running through them, they wouldn't even have money to produce, to sell, like, to get the money, to get people to buy from them. So it seems like, some people think that's the only way, is to just try to outshine and, like, show off, and just sink all their money into experimental abstract ideas. And I'm trying to tell you, like, do it. Like, invest as much as you can, like, in a realistic way into that part of your line, but don't sacrifice your commercial line. Don't like, that's going to be your income source, is the commercial line, and then use what you make from that to fuel your art, and you're going to have a lot longer, a more like sustainable career. So it's always so tempting to just have ideas, and want to just go nuts with the creative side. And in the past, I've blown more money than I should. I guess I'm talking from experience a bit here, of, like, kind of robbing my business of cash flow, in order to experiment with some creative things that I probably could have just been more patient, and sort of waited, and been more sensible with taking that money to, make avant-garde fashion. If you don't want to do things commercially, and you just want to just make stuff, be like avant-garde stuff and very abstract stuff, because that's inspiring to you, like, that's okay. I more want to talk to people, like, I mean, I want to talk to you as well, but I more want to talk to people that want to have lines, and they want to have a career, and they want to live off selling clothes, and their creativity and their art for years to come, and just, like, be immersed in fashion, and selling it, and making it, and creating it, and learning about it. And I'm a big fan of balance, and finding like sustainability with your career, because there's people that come and go with for a couple of years, they blow a bunch of money, and then they're done, and they're pretty disappointed with oh, the world didn't see my vision. Well, it's a couple of years, and there's been a lot of people in this business that are doing it, that have been around for a long time, like, consistently sharing their vision. But you can do it smart as well, and have your commercial goods, be more humble and be more realistic about where your career's at with this kind of thing. And if you have a 30-40 year career in fashion and you can make avant-garde things and you can make commercial things, you're going to make a lot of avant-garde things in like that period of time. Like, so it's not a race. It's not a race to get noticed, or to basically like show off and prove that you're better than everyone and you're more different than everyone, and like do what you can, but also like have a solid base with the commercial side, and like just let go of what other people are saying, and the whole, like, I'm not a fan of the showy part of fashion. I'm a fan of being in the studio, cutting patterns and cutting clothes, like cutting garments, and going to the factories and sourcing, and like, I'm a fan of making clothes, not showing off clothes. Like, I mean, I'm more on the technical geeky side, and you do have to promote your fashion, you do have to reach more people, but it can get kind of sick, in the sense of like how much people think they need to show off, and to be honest, like, they've been doing it for a couple years, and they may have talent and they may have some money behind them, they may have some support, but like, it's nothing, like, they're not technically there. And I'm a huge fan of, like, I've always thought, like, I don't do runway shows, and I always thought like a runway show should be the end of my career. I want to show everything I worked on in 20 years and just let it be like, hey, like, here's what I did with my career, instead of trying to show every season like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, like, blah blah blah. And a lot of times they're just copying, and it's just like whatever's on trend, and like, the true avant-garde is just, this is what I believe in. I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about it. It's like, this is what's cool to me. That's what I want to put out, and like, you just do it. But like, it seems so these days. It seems so like people trying to be avant-garde, but it's not avant-garde. They're trying to be edgy, but they're not. They're not original, and just like, just don't buy into that bullshit. It's really, especially in fashion, it's so showy, and people are all noses up in the air and stuff. I don't bother with that. Like, we're the good people that I work with and stuff, we're in our studios, we're making stuff, we're productive. We're like grinding it out every day, like dealing with customers, and then these people kind of show up and they're all flashy on Instagram and like doing the shows, and they're around for a couple of years and then they're gone. So I would suggest, like, really get solid with the commercial, and make an effort to work on the avant-garde, the experimental, and really push your vision in your line. But be balanced, be sensible, be smart about it. Don't blow your rent money on something that may not give you a return in however much time to come. Like, just be sensible about it, be practical. Send me emails, please. I mean, about this topic. I'm pretty passionate about this one. I've been around for 10 years. I've seen lots of people come and go. I've seen lots of ego. I've experienced things myself. I've done things that maybe I shouldn't have done, during my process. So, subscribe. You want to find out more about my work, Instagram is below. I also sell product. I have all kinds of stuff, commercial stuff, creative stuff. You can find the links below. Thanks for watching. I'm going to have a lot more videos on the basics of fashion and running a fashion business. And just want to thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon. Bye.